Welcome to the Lovestead.
Hello, welcome back to Lady Lovestead Reads. My name is Jessica and this is the vlog. We're wrapping up November. Today is Monday, November 28th, and I'm on my lunch break. And this week I don't really have any specific reading plans other than I just want to read whatever I want to get through the end of the month. I'm behind on my Goodreads goal, so I'm trying to catch up a bit. And right now I'm reading Daphne by Josh Malerman. This is like a ghost story slash slasher about this ghost that attacks basketball players specifically. And so far in the book, I'll go into more detail. Actually, I'll just link you to last week's vlog. Last week's vlog, I gave a pretty decent synopsis of it, so I'll link you to that here. You can just rewatch that part of that particular vlog instead of me rehashing it here. But I am like 25% of the way into that one, and I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's going to be a 5-star read, but I'm having a good time. On audiobook, I am listening to Inventing Latinos, a new story of American racism by Laura E. Gomez, and this book is exactly what the title suggests. It's exploring the history of racism in Latino communities in the United States. So far, it's a really good read. I am about 25% of the way through that one as well. So, there we have it. My cats are literally like, we're going to take a break now from work to give us attention because we are superior to your job. Oh my goodness. Are you happy with yourself? Are you pleased? Elle doesn't show up in my videos very often, but this is my cat Elle. He's an all black Berber. And he's like his sisters, 13 years old. He's an old man. Yeah, he's an old man. He's very, very sweet. And he's really taken Pippi under his wing. Haven't you? Teaching her all your bad habits. Yes. Yes, good boy. Hi, I DNF'd Daphne by Josh Malerman. It was boring me. It wasn't scary. found it repetitive, found it dull, DNF'd at about halfway through. And I'm deciding to pick up Keeper of the Lost Cities, book 3. I enjoyed book 1. I loved book 2. I'm gonna start book 3. I'm really in the mood for this series, so I did check out books 3, 4, and 5 from the library, but they're chunky. This is like 700 pages. So I don't know if I'll read all of it this week or what this is going to look like, but starting this today, it is Wednesday, November 30th. Happy December! Are you guys excited that Santa Claus comes this month? No? Okay, fair enough. Hello, it is Thursday, December 1st. Had a little moment yesterday where, hey Ellie Bell, I caught myself on camera looking completely terrible. Like, I thought that I had been dealing with everything going on in my life well until I was at this meeting. So I was at this meeting. I was prepared for the meeting. I had all of my materials and stuff prepared. But I looked terrible. Like, everybody else there was like all polished and put together and professional looking, and then I had like bags under my eyes and I wasn't wearing makeup. And like, I had a professional top on and stuff, and that was fine. But like, my hair was a mess. Like, I just looked so trashy, and it kind of hit me in the middle of that meeting. The thought crossed my head. I was looking at myself on camera and I was like, hello, rock bottom. Like, that's my rock bottom right there, to look like trash in a professional setting. That's my rock bottom. Everybody has a different rock bottom. That's mine. Elle is needing attention. Ellie Bell. And I kind of decided I need to make some changes, because I sat down and I thought about it, and like, I haven't been wearing makeup. I haven't been dressing the way I like to dress. My house is a wreck. I'm backed up on laundry. I'm behind on projects at work. I'm behind on homework. And like, everything just feels like it's spiraling a little bit, and I need to put the stopper on it. You know how water spirals down a bathtub drain? I need to put the stopper in it and stop the spiral like in its tracks. Because yeah, it was like it was an eye-opening moment the other day, seeing myself on camera looking like that. So I think my goal is, oh, he wants down. My goal is just to peel back the chaos, turn down the volume on the chaos a bit, and to add a bit more structure and routine and organization into my life. I need to handle my business as an adult, not completely falling apart, which is the road I was like quickly headed down. So today I got up early because it's like day 1 of a new month, day 1 of a fresh start kind of feeling. So I got up early, got some stuff done at work to catch up on things, and I got caught up on barn chores, and I'm doing laundry right now, which you might hear in the background, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get the ball rolling and let that momentum just snowball. I just did attended sprints with Jan on her channel. She does her first of the month sprints. I wasn't hosting, I was just attending. So I was using that time to try to get caught up on some homework. So that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. You saw in a clip me giving Pi sub-Q fluids at home. So my cat Pi, who is my elderly gray cat, she has started to have some kidney issues, and the vet wants her to have fluids twice a week. So they taught me how to give her fluids at home so that I could do fluids for her at home twice a week. And we took her in today because wanted to make sure that everything would go okay at home with that. Wanted to make sure everything would go okay at home with that, and it did. She was a perfect angel during the whole process. So I took her into the vet today for a recheck, and that does seem to be helping, and so we're gonna keep doing that. It's a really interesting skill to have now, to know that like I can give a cat subcutaneous fluids as needed. I got book mail. I needed a pick-me-up, but I didn't want to spend money, and I had a free book on Thrift Books, because if you get like an account with Thrift Books, you get a free $5 book after spending so much money there. And I had this free book that was going to expire, so I bought a kid's book, Madeline by Ludwig Bimmelmans, I think is how you say that. And I've talked, I think only in one other vlog, but I am trying to build up some of my favorite children's books in my library, because while I don't have children, I do have friends who have children, and I'd like to have like books for them if they are to ever come over and spend time here. I'd want to have some books for them in my house. So I went ahead and got Madeline. This is one of my favorite books from my childhood, and I think it's actually what started sort of my fascination with France and French culture, because this is set in France, and like there are these really gorgeous illustrations of these different areas of France. I think this started my love of art too, because don't these illustrations kind of give like Frida Kahlo vibes a little bit? But like there's the Notre Dame. So yeah, I loved the Madeline books when I was little, devoured them, and so as like a comfort buy, I spent my free book on this. Do you count children's books in your Goodreads total? Because I'm gonna reread this, like actually reread it instead of just thumb through it. So should I count it in my Goodreads total, or is that cheating? I don't really know. Let me know down below what you do, because I do have subscribers here that really enjoy children's books and children's literature, and like if it's a middle grade chapter book, I always count it. Without question, I count it. Look, there's the Eiffel Tower. So do you count these? Let me know down below. I mentioned in a clip that I did DNF Daphne by Josh Mallerman. I didn't really give a great synopsis of what that one is about, but it's basically about this ghost who haunts basketball players in this city and kills them, supposedly, is the lore. I didn't like the book. I didn't like it. This was a group read for Jan's Patreon, The Lair. There was basically a group buddy read that we did of it, and like nobody else really liked it either, and people who did sort of like it still only rated it like a 3-star. So I made it to the halfway point before I had to just put it down. It just was boring. It's supposed to be like a psychological horror, and I was not scared at all. The book felt repetitive, it felt dry. Not for me. So that was the DNF. And then I picked up, as I mentioned, Everblaze by Shannon Messenger. This is book 3 in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series, and I am loving it. I don't know what it is about Shannon Messenger's writing, and I said this in the last book of hers that I read too, but I can go a year between books and pick up the next one and still remember the characters in the story. And part of what she does that makes that easy is because she'll give like a basic recap in the first 50 pages, kind of recapping what happened in the past. And I think some people find that repetitive, but for me, I enjoy that because she'll talk about, you know, something that had happened in a past book, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that reading experience of that moment. And I can recall this story so easily. Like some books I read and it's like gone as soon as I'm done reading it. You know what I mean? I don't remember the story. And it's usually just a sign that I'm not super invested in the story, but something about Shannon Messenger's writing really clicks for me and sticks. Like it sticks in my brain, even some of the small details of the story. And like, yeah, I do think that there are some imperfections about this series, but I just really enjoy it. And I'm 50 pages in. I read 50 pages yesterday, and it just is like visiting your favorite auntie, like that feeling of like the feeling that I often get when reading middle grade is just a feeling of safety. And I get that feeling of like safety and peace reading this because I'm very invested in the characters. And this has gotten not great reviews by a couple of my friends who really like middle grade. But so far I'm enjoying it. Like 50 pages felt like nothing. 50 pages felt like reading 10 pages. Like it went by so fast. I just eat it up. Eat it right on up. So I did check out the book 3, 4, and 5. I'll show you. I've got them here on the floor. I believe this is book 4. Yes. So this is book 4, Never Seen, and this is book 5, Lodestar. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read them back to back because as you can tell, they're like really thick books, anywhere between 600 and 700 pages. So we'll just see as I go with Everblaze how I feel and how fast I get through it and kind of go from there. I'm also still reading on audiobook Inventing Latinos by Laura E. Gomez. This is a nonfiction, sort of like historical, cultural narrative of the story of Latinos in the United States and the history of racism against Latinos in the United States. And I am learning so much from this book. I'm 70% of the way through. I'm just learning so much. It is really eye-opening, really good information. And yeah, that's all I can say about it. Is this it's excellent. Like it is a really, really good overview of Latinos in America. One thing I would say is you might consider reading The Color of Law. I forget who wrote that. Let me look it up. Okay, it's The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein, and that one talks about basically de facto and de jure institutionalized and non-institutionalized racism in the United States, particularly against Black Americans. And that, because I have read that has really set the stage to help me understand this book, Inventing Latinos. So I actually would recommend, like if you're interested in this kind of material, to start with The Color of Law, because that really goes in depth into the difference between de facto and de jure racism. I don't know if I'm saying those words correctly, but basically institutionalized laws that mandate segregation versus cultural norms that mandate segregation. And I think that because I'd have read that book, I'm able to understand Inventing Latinos a lot better, because a lot of these concepts overlap. And Laura Gomez also uses those phrases like de facto and de jure racism and segregation in Inventing Latinos. So like I'm super glad I had that background, and I would recommend reading them in that order. happy Friday. I have a little Petsmart haul for you. I technically have the day off work today, so I slept in and I went to Petsmart to get some stuff because I needed some stuff for the birds. And then I got a few other things, as shoppers do. So first I got this multi-purpose cleaning tool to help me clean the bird cage a little better, really scrape off that bird poop. I'm going to use it tonight to give their cage a good thorough cleaning. They've seemed a little stressed today and it has me worried about them. I think in part they're a little cold because it is really pretty cold in Iowa. So I'm going to turn the heat up and hopefully that helps. And then I'm trying to find like some nutritional supplements for them because they're still adjusting to being here and it's a pretty stressful time for them. So I was trying to find nutritional supplements for them. That's why I initially went to PetSmart. But I always like to get my dogs matching sweaters for the holidays every year. And sometimes they're just like general sweaters. Sometimes they're holiday specific. The last time I got general sweaters. This year I got holiday specific ones. They say happy holidays. So Maggie and Orlando will wear these for Christmas. And then for New Year's, I got Maggie a little dress. She looks amazing in green. So she's got this little New Year's Eve dress, and then Orlando will wear his happy holiday sweater, and they will be the cutest. To help the birds manage the cold, I got them this like fuzzy perch, and I'm hoping that if they sit in here it'll help them warm up a little better. So I got them this little fuzzy hut. I got some nutritional egg food. So this is like dehydrated eggs that's supposed to support their immune system and help with stress and help with molting and all of that. So I'm going to add some of this to their daily feed. Yeah, it says you can just sprinkle it over your bird's regular food. So I will do that. I got this cute cat lid topper because Pippi doesn't eat a full can of kitten food, so it's been going in the fridge, and rather than continue to reuse aluminum foil, I went ahead and got this reusable lid. Maggie and Orlando love these training treats, Little Jack's training treats, so I got some more of those. And then this is like Pippi's absolute favorite toy right now, is these fuzzy balls with feathers. I got 2 packs. I've already given her the fresh ones, but she absolutely destroys them. She rips the feathers off and like she lives it up with these. She makes good use of them. So I got a pack that I've already given her, and then this as her next round. Some pill pockets for Cherry and Elle. This is what I use to give them their daily thyroid medication. And then I got a mineral block for the birds. So this has dried apples, and it's just supposed to add like some vitamins, some supplemental vitamins into their diet. So we'll add this to the bird cage. I wanted to get, they have this like vitamin supplement that's like a powder you can sprinkle on their food that I wanted to get. They didn't have any in stock, so I'm probably going to have to order that online. Yesterday I did finish Inventing Latinos by Laura Gomez, and oh yeah, she's already torn one of those feather balls up. It's already a goner. Good job. Just a wild thing. Anyway, I finished Inventing Latinos. That was a 5-star read for me. I learned so much from that book. Like, I learned about how language was used as a weapon in racism. like trying to make English the national language, how that's like really like discriminatory. I learned about how the census is used as a political tool for racism, how that can be discriminatory and dangerous for Latinos in the US. I learned about how the US CIA is responsible for putting these really corrupt leaders into place in South American countries. And so that there's the fact that there's all this like violence and things that people need to flee from, it is the fault of the US for our colonialism. And now we're like, no, you can't come here. And it's just like, it's awful. It's terrible. We don't have a very stellar history, y'all. Like, yeah, really, really, really excellent read. And I would encourage anybody to read it. Go into it knowing that it is a very non-fiction-y nonfiction. Like, it reads sort of like a textbook and it's kind of dry, but there's a lot of really, really good information in it. Okay, so I used the scraper to clean out the bottom of their cage. That worked really, really well. Here's their little fuzzy hide. We'll see if they end up using that or not. And then the mineral block is right here. And then, you know, I put the egg stuff in their food, so we'll just see how they do. They're super stressed since I've been all up in their house. They're super stressed out. So I'm going to leave them alone for a bit. So I've pretty much had this Friday off, and I haven't done any reading yet. It's about 11 o'clock p.m. But I did go to Petsmart and get the supplies that I needed that I showed you. Cleaned out the bird cage. And then I've been just working on figuring out like my schedule so that I have a more organized and less chaotic life. And I think I have it sorted out. So weekdays, Monday through Friday, like in the mornings, I'll walk the dogs and then get ready, including like putting myself together somewhat, not just looking super sloppy like I have been. And then if I have to do any pet sitting, then I'll go do the pet sitting. And then I will come back and I will work like my normal work shift. After work, I do barn time where I'll do my stall cleaning and all of that. And after barn time, if I need to go do my nightly chores for pet sitting, I'll go do that. And then when I get home, it's going to be like dinner and house chores time. And then after that, it's homework time and like side hustle stuff and booktubing if I need to. And then before sleep, it's like shower and read and relax for a while. So that's like what my typical Monday through Friday days are going to look like. And then Mondays and Fridays at the barn are going to be specifically riding days so that I can book in my weeks riding my horse. So like I start the week out nice riding the horse and I end the week riding my horse. Then Saturdays are going to be booktube days and reading, homework catch up. And then I'm going to deep clean a part of my house until my house is back together the way I want it to be. So the person that I live with has lived in a hoarder house before living with me, and they picked up some bad habits. And it's been really difficult to live with. And now that they're going to be moving out, I'll be able to start getting my house back in the condition that I prefer it to be in. So Saturdays are going to be my days to really work on that. And barn time, of course, to clean stalls and whatever. And then Sundays are going to be animal care days where I do my water changes on my aquariums. I'm going to clean the bird cage, all of that, plus reading and like basic house tidying chores, like
Sunday will be regular home maintenance stuff, and Saturdays, like, I pick an area and I deep clean it and really figure out what I want for that space. Saturdays will also be the day that, like, if I have to run an errand, I will run my errand on Saturdays. Otherwise, if it's an errand where, like, the facility is closed on weekends, like the bank, I'll, like, stop by the bank before going to the barn, or stop by the library before going to the barn. So hopefully, I mean, this is just the routine for now to give myself the structure that I need to get back on track with things. It's a pretty intense structure, and it's starting right now, right here, right now. It's not going to be perfect. Like, I'm not going to be able to follow this schedule exactly every single day, but I just think if I have that structure in place, now that I have it figured out and I figured out where I'm going to put each, like, thing that I have to do, it'll make things a little easier for me, and it'll help me get my life back together and stop being a puddle of goo like I have been for the past month.
Ooh, I sneezed and it scared the birds. I just put perfume on and it's making me sneeze. Happy Monday. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the vlog here on Monday. I didn't get a whole lot more read over the weekend. I realized as I was filming some B-roll this weekend, I was like, you know, my little story about, like, figuring out my routine, that probably is such a duh moment for most people. Like, I feel like most working adults know how to do that. And it dawned on me that I struggle with that because I am on the autism spectrum. And, like, the executive function for me isn't always there. Like, I theoretically know, like, how to manage my time and how to set up a routine and all of that. But sometimes just, like, the discipline that comes from having executive function isn't there. And so, like, I have to retrain myself constantly, like, how to do those things, where for other people who maybe aren't on the spectrum or neurodivergent in any way, that just is, like, automatic for them and they don't even have to think about it. For me, I have to, like, consciously work every single day to maintain, like, structure and routine. And when I am dealing with heavy things like I have been this fall, it's like the first thing that goes. I have no ability to keep myself on a routine or structured or organized. So just a little bit more context for that. Like, I'm almost 40 years old. I've been exposed to these concepts and practices before. It's not anything new, but it is something that I constantly have to, like, remind myself of and, like, restart and repractice because of being on the spectrum. This is something that a lot of people on the spectrum have trouble with and need extra supports for. And, like, I don't have extra supports. My state's not a great state to be out requesting supports, and they wouldn't consider me like severe enough to need supports. So I have to figure out how to support myself, and it can be difficult. All right, for reading, I am on about page 150 of Everblaze, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it just as much as I did book 2. And when I sit down to read it, it flies by. It's just, I haven't had time to read it, a lot of it. I've been reading before bed as part of the routine that I built for myself. And then if I'm like in line, like in the Starbucks line or something, or at the vet clinic waiting to take my cats in or whatever, I will read during those like little moments. But I haven't had a whole lot of those moments. I'm enjoying this. I don't know what to say that wouldn't be a spoiler since it is book 3. And I haven't finished it yet. So this is going to spill over into the next vlog. If you want to see my final thoughts of that, make sure to watch next week's vlog. And then I also am about 80% of the way through of Beyond Welcome, A Christian's Perspective on Immigration. And this book is just about how churches are failing at really being loving to immigrants, and how churches using certain language still pose immigrants as the other rather than as part of us. And it fits in really well with what I just read in the book Inventing Latinos. Not quite done with it. I am liking it. I think this book could benefit from having more than one author, because anytime you're doing a study of the Bible, like, you have to do it well. And there is a little bit of Bible study in here, though that's not really the main focus. The main focus is just on like how churches behave, less so on like studying immigration in the Bible, if that makes sense. So like, I'm going to give it a pass for that, but I do think it would benefit from having maybe like some essays by a biblical scholar in there to just augment what's being discussed. So that's where I'm at with my reading. I hope that you're having a good reading week. Can you believe that it's December already? If you're enjoying my content, I don't say this in every video, I always forget, but if you're enjoying my content, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps to grow the channel and helps me connect with you, because I get to see when you subscribe. And whenever I get a new subscriber, I go check out their page. And, you know, if you've got videos, I'll watch some of your videos and that kind of thing. So if you're enjoying my content, make sure to subscribe. And if you just want to let me know that you're here, since we're dealing with a lot of stuff on immigration and loving immigrants, go ahead and do any color of heart emoji in the comments below to represent loving immigrants, loving refugees, accepting them, and loving them fully and wholly as we should. So until next time, make sure that you continue to read good books, drink good coffee, take care of yourselves and each other.